Hey drummers, it's Rob Litton here from drumstheword.com. Hope you're doing well. Earlier on today I released a video here on YouTube promoting my Thanksgiving Black Friday offer. But of course I'm still going to be doing loads and loads of free video lessons in the future for you guys. So don't worry about that. If you can't afford it this time, then don't worry, there'll be plenty more free material coming in the future, just like this today. And especially next month for the Christmas festive season. Today I want to show you how to play a song that's been requested over on my Facebook page. The song is The Evil That Men Do by Iron Maiden, drummed by Nicko McBrain. And I've got 3 pages of PDF for you that you can download from my website for free. You'll find a link to these sheets beneath this video. Really I've got all the main drum beats, all the main drum fills from the song. And with this together you've basically got the entire piece down. Combine all these pieces together and you've got all the licks and beats that Nicko plays in the song. So don't forget to have this printed out in front of you before we go through this video. It's going to make things a lot easier for you to understand. And if you want to make your own song suggestions, then you can do so by going over to my Facebook page. Again, you'll find a link to the page beneath this video. So go across there if you want to make any song suggestions for future lessons. Okay, so let's start with the first section. We've got the washy crash cymbals at the beginning. The main drums really come in at 30 seconds, so that's where we've got our first drum beat. And it features Nicko's machine-like bass drum foot. He's famous for being able to play incredibly fast bass drum notes with just the one pedal. He doesn't use a double bass drum pedal, although throughout this lesson, any parts that you find too difficult to play with one pedal, of course you could play with a double pedal instead. But just like Nicko, I'm going to be showing you how to play it single pedal. It does require a little bit of technique. This might push this lesson from intermediate to more advanced because of the bass drum technique. So be aware of that. The first bar really shows you this really cool drum beat. He flicks these 2 bass drum notes on the and the ers of each beat. Not every single bar, not every single beat, but he just throws them in really cool sections to sort of push the rhythm along, and you hear the bass guitar sort of following that rhythm. I kind of think of it as the bass drum gallop, although other people can call it other things. I hear it as like a sort of gallop sound. And what we're doing, for the first bar beat only, he's playing on the downbeat of beat 1, 1 and 2, but it's the and bit that's the tricky bit. Now if I just go to my slippered feet, just for 2 seconds, this isn't going to be an advanced in-depth tutorial on how to do this technique, but I just want to show you roughly what I'm doing with the bass drum pedal. This is what most drummers do. This is called the toe heel technique. People can call it other things, slide technique as well, although some slide techniques tend to have this sideways motion as well. This is the technique I learned. This is the technique I see most drummers using as well. You come up with the whole leg, the knee comes up for the first note, and you play the first note with the ball of your foot. You then come up from the pedal with your bass drum foot, and then the whole leg comes down for the second note. Now if you play it slowly, it doesn't make sense. It's only when you speed it up and that motion becomes smoother that you start to see that those 2 notes turn into one motion. So my knee's coming up for one note, down for the second. So it's a very energy saving technique. I'm using the flick of the pedal on my ankle to be able to produce those 2 notes. And as you start to speed up, I start to use more of the spring of the pedal, and that allows me to play that with minimum effort. If you happen to play both notes with the one leg motion, there's no way you can do it. You break your back. So you have to learn that technique, a slide technique of some sort, in order to play us up to speed. Okay, here we go, back to the old, there it is. So back to the first drum beat, we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're playing quarter notes on the open hi-hat, snare drum on beats 2 and 4. Now, as I just said, it's only the first bar that has that bass drum on beat 1. If we go to the second bar, you can see how it loops. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. You want to hear those 2 notes, into the galloping thing. You want to hear it like that. If you don't get those 2 notes in the right place, it's not going to sound as tight. And like I said earlier on, of course you could use double bass drum pedal, which is obviously a lot easier and can actually make the 2 bass drum notes sound a lot more even as well. So that second bar is the same as the first, except without the bass drum on beat 1. Then for the second line, I wanted to show you bar 3, where he plays 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, but not and a at the end of that bar. He then goes back for the fourth bar, back to beat 1, 1 and a 2, and then he plays 3 ands, so we're playing 2/8 notes there, 3 and with the bass drum, 3 and 4, snare drum and hi-hat closes, and we get this throughout the song. There's all these pushes on the ands of beat 4s each time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and these pushes on the ands occur a lot through the song. And you'll see that all these drum fills and beats I've got for you today, most of them end with that stab on the and of beat 4. And this is our first example of it. So that fourth bar, 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let me play that all 4 bars slowly, then up to speed. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, 1 and a 2, 3 and 4 and. And now let's hear those 4 bars up to speed without me yakking on over the top. Here we go. So almost just after that section, at 39 seconds, we get the first sort of big drum fill that I hear in the song. I included the bar before, the groove bar, because it's nice to put the drum fill in context with the beat before it and after it sometimes as well. So the first bar, 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4. That bar gives you an example of, he's not always playing 3 and a, sometimes he's just playing 3 and 4. Now we get to the drum fill. And it's a dynamic thing. We're using accents and ghost notes. So just all the notes on the snare drum, we're playing 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. I'm accenting right, left, right, left, right. And those notes in between are written in brackets on the notation. That means that they're played quietly. They're ghost notes. If you don't get the ghost notes quietly, you won't hear those accent notes stand out. It'd just be, which would be fine if you want to get through the song, but that's not what Nicko is playing. Next thing is he's orchestrating it slightly differently. The first note is up on a tom. It could be that tom, it doesn't matter, that tom. I'm going to use this tom. I know Nicko's got like 5 or 6 different toms. He plays 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. So probably what you're hearing if you're a little bit inexperienced, you're probably hearing. But actually, if you listen very carefully, you can hear the notes in between. And with the rest of the band, those notes are even more hidden. Finally, the bass drum's playing on 1, 2, 3. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. And then I think he plays the floor tom, his lowest tom on beat 4. It might be the bass drum, but I think it's the tom. 4 ands, and we get 4 ands, and I think it goes into beat 1 on the next bar with another crash cymbal. 4 and 1, but it might be 4 ands. I don't know offhand from the notation whether that goes into the next section with a downbeat. It might be one of those drum fills where it ends on the upbeat. So there's 2 bars slowly. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and 4 and 1. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and 4 and let's hear those 2 bars up to speed. So at 1 minute 06, this is an example, the drum for the second bar, where I had to and ah about this a little bit. I'm still not 100% sure quite what he's playing. So I watched him play it live a few times, and he definitely plays this lick quite a few times live. So I'm pretty sure this is what he's playing. Anyway, the first bar shows another one of those upbeat stabs. We get 1 and 2, 3 and 4, using the hi-hat closing on beat 4 with the snare drum to give a bit of silence before the offbeat crash on the and of 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. Then the drum fill bar, starting on the and of beat 1, we get a set of triplets. The rhythm's correct, it's just what he's playing on. I think he's playing anta to 4, anta to 2. We've got 16th note triplets, starting on the and of beat 1, ending with the left hand on the lowest tom on beat 2. Just 4 notes. But starting on the and, 1 and 2 and 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 1 and 2. Make sure you start on the and, get on the 2. Then I think he plays the bass drum on the and of 2. 1 and 2 and now this bit I am sure about. He plays 3 and 4. Snare, 1 tom, next lowest tom. 3, you could play 3 and 4 if you wanted to. 3 and 4 and again another one of those offbeat crashes on the and of 4. So it's 2 bars slowly. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's hear that up to speed. So at 1 minute 09 we go into our first chorus and Nicko sort of keeps to the same idea each time. It's the second bar where we got those bell stabs that sort of repeat and loop, as I'll show you in a second. Just for these 2 examples, there we got 2 very specific bass drum patterns he plays. Because the 2 bars loop, or because the previous section ended on that upbeat crash cymbal on the and of 4, beat 1 isn't played in this example, and you'll hear when it loops, it makes sense. So we actually come in with the bass drum on the and of beat 1. 1 and 2, he's up on the right cymbal by the way. 1 and 2, 3 and a 4, so still with those gallops occasionally. 1 and 2, 3 and a 4. Second bar, 1 and a 2. And then he does this a lot. Sort of moves more to the bell of the right cymbal and plays 3 and 4 ands. So we get 1 and 2, 3 and a 4, 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. You can see where it loops. 4 and 1 and 2. That missing beat 1 makes sense. 1 and 2, 3 and a 4, 1 and a 2, 3 and 4 ands. And let me hear you. I'll play it for you. Let me play for you that twice so you can hear it loop round. So at 1 minute 30 we've got another really cool drum fill. Again, I've included the bar before it for context, but also because there's an open hi-hat surprisingly on beat 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So again, starting on the and for the same reason we talked about in the previous example. Then the drum fill, starting on your highest tom, it doesn't really matter, you can start here and go down to here, but you need to have 2 toms in front of you because you're going to be coming down to the snare drum with your left hand. And if you end up here, of course you could actually. Yeah, don't worry about what I just said there. Of course you can play any tom because you could be coming over to the snare drum with your left hand. I'll show you what I mean. I've notated it as these 2 toms. 1 E and a 2 E and then continuing the 16th notes, we just come down to the snare drum for the 2 E and a 3, 2 E and a 3 and 4 and again the old faithful and the and a 4 there. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and 4 and. Underneath that, he's playing the bass drum on beat 1 and 2, I think. You could leave out those bass drums if you wanted to. So slowly those 2 bars, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a... And I messed up there because I closed the hi-hat. I suddenly remembered that hi-hat rings out for the whole of the drum fill. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and 4 and. And let's hear it properly. At 2:07, another little lick that Nicko plays quite a lot. I think it's played at least twice in the song. It's the old fuddle-a-dump, my favourite. So leading up to it, we've got 1 and 2 ands. Then snare drum flam on beat 3, 3, and then the fuddle-a-dump bit is simply and to 4. So again, 16th note triplet starting on the and, ending on 4, and to 4. Right, left, right, bass drum. That beautiful lick. So it's 3 and 4 and then an offbeat crash and 3 and 4 and. So we get 3 and 4 and with the bass drum. You need to get that bass drum to fall neatly on beat 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And let's hear that up to speed. So 2 minute 13, we've got a rather weird, very simple drum fill, but I thought I'd include it. Nothing technical going on here. So It's what he plays, I think, is 1 and 2 and 3. So we're playing quarter notes with the right cymbal. 1 and 2 and 3. By the way, if your right hand's in the way of your floor tom, you could use a tom up here instead. But on the mix, it sounds very low, so I included it. So I'm going to play it on this floor tom. 1 and 2 and 3, and then 4 ands. 4 ands. 1 and 2 and 3. 4 ands. Sorry, there's no crash on beat 4, but if you did that accidentally, it wouldn't matter. And let's hear that up to speed. So at 2:40 we get another little sort of miniature drum fill. I like this because we get an extra snare drum on beat 3, followed by those gallops into snare and crashes. He's playing 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4 ands. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4 ands. And up to speed. So at 2 minutes 46 I heard this drum fill. This was quite hard to work out exactly what he's playing again because there's a mix of drums going on. I think he plays 1 and then snare drum and highest tom. Doesn't have to be, again, you could use a second highest tom. 1 and 2 and 3. Snare and something else is being played there. A higher pitched tom, I believe. So I don't think it's just snare drum on its own. I think it's snare and a tom together. And because it's to go down the kit at the end of the drum fill, it makes sense that it starts on a higher tom to start off with. 1 and 2 and 3. And then it ends with and 4 and. Your next highest tom and then your lowest 4 ands, an old faithful in the and a 4 there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 ands. And without the mic on. So on page 3 of the notation, at 2 minutes 59, we get the little band break. So the first bar is rested with just the guitars playing. Then the second bar, we get 2 stabs, choked crash cymbals on the and of beat 3 and the and of 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 ands. Now, before that, just on beat 3, and I've included it because it's on the recording, but it's just really to keep the band in time. Nicko plays the hi-hat with his foot on beat 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 ands. Then into the next bar we get 1 and 2, again, probably just to keep the rest of the band in time. 1 and 2, beat 3 is rested, and then we come in with this drum fill on beat 4. It starts similar to what we had before. 4E and a 1, but it goes into the last bar with 1E and a. So we get right quiet, right quiet. Again, if you haven't got a trained ear, you might just hear, which is fine, you could play that instead if you can't get those ghost notes quietly. But actually Nicko's playing. And then from beat 2, he plays 2E, up to your highest tom, and a, just for 2 notes, then to the next lowest tom for 4 notes, 3E and a, then down to your next lowest tom, 4E and, ending on the old and a 4. So the first bar's rested. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4E and a 1E and 2E and a 3E and a 4E ands. And let's hear that up to speed. Then finally at 3 minutes 38, the last sort of original idea he plays in the song occurs, and the bar before it, just the drum beat, is a bit weird because we've got these stabs in interesting places. Missing over beat 1, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And it goes back to the right cymbal for beat 4, but you don't have to. The bass drum comes down on 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, or 3 and 4. That's what he plays. And then for the drum fill, it's this one again. 1E and a 2E and a 3, but instead of going 1E and a 2E and a 3 and 4 ands, this time it's 1E and a 2E and a 3 and 4 ands. He just comes up to the crash cymbals, left, right, or right, left, right, depending if you can get to the crash in time with your right hand. It's a lot of fun to play that. Again, making sure you end on the and of beat 4. So finally, let's hear that up to speed. So if you've got any questions, feel free to email me, rob@drumstheword.com. Don't forget to download the free PDF that came with this lesson. Again, you'll find a link beneath this video. And you might want to consider signing up to become an online member at my website, especially this Black Friday weekend where I'm offering the 50% discount. And what I give you currently for under $50, but normal price $97, is a full year's online access to every single full video song lesson I've ever recorded and transcribed. And that's coming up to almost 500 full song lessons where I teach you a song from start to finish. Every single bar is included, and you get the fully transcribed PDF drum chart to come with each of those song lessons. As a thank you for signing up, I give you access to hundreds of little videos teaching you many famous drum beats, fills and solos, just like this lesson today. I give you 3 ebooks I've written over the years containing hundreds more famous beats, fills and solos. And then over the year of your subscription, you also gain instant online access to all the new material that I upload for my members. And I record new lessons every week unless I'm ill or on holiday. So you've got lots of cool stuff to look forward to over the year of your subscription. But if you've got any questions about any of that, then feel free to email me, rob@drumstheword.com. And until our next drum lesson together, toodle pip and happy drumming to you.